Welcome back to the channel, guys. So I have a video reaction request from my good friend in the comment section, Storm Shadow, and he requested that I watch this video called Thunderbolts Bringing Back Taskmaster. But it might be a new version. So they're going to remix the remix of Taskmaster. The first remix didn't work, so let's do it again. Let's try it again. I don't know. I don't know how this is going to work, but I'm going to watch it anyways. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And if you guys have a video you would like for me to react to, leave it in the comment section. I will definitely get around to it. But without further ado, let's get into the video.
Marvel Studios will be bringing back the Taskmaster in the Thunderbolts. And reportedly, the character will still be the same version we saw in Black Widow.
That's not what I wanted to hear. That's not what I wanted to hear. I mean, I wasn't a big fan of that one. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, but it's Disney. It's their IP now. They're gonna do what they want. What am I gonna do? I'm gonna sue them? I can't sue them for that. It is what it is.
But also, there's some conflicting reports that we might be getting two Taskmasters.
Two Taskmasters.
And the second one is the one that the comic book fans want.
Whoa. Okay. Slow down, buddy. Let me stop you right there, buddy. First of all, he said there's conflicting reports. So that means that this may not even be true. That already eliminates the idea that this is set in stone. It could possibly happen, but there's a good chance that it's not. Now, the part where he said that it's going to be the ones that the comic book fans want. So does he mean that we're actually going to get a Tony Masters on the screen, or we're going to get something that looked like Tony Masters and they're going to name it Moni Taskers or something like that? Like, I don't put that past Disney, but let's just go with the idea of them bringing a character that's the comic book accurate version. Now, I've been a big fan of Taskmaster for a long time, even to the point where a long time ago when I told people that Taskmaster was one of my top 10 villains in the comic books at the time, not even about arc, just about like his ability and things that I like about the character, they honestly thought like, well, is he Disney or is he Marvel? I even had people come up to me and say, you made this character up. I'd never seen this character before. I'm like, dude, it's right here. I had to show them the comic books in order for them to believe that this person exists. And even when they saw them, they were like, he ain't no Dr. Octopus though. He ain't this person. He ain't that person. He's a Z-list villain. And I had to, kind of just eat crow and deal with that. Like, people don't like the person that I like. But the reason why I bring that up is because one of the main reasons I love Taskmaster, as we all know, his ability when he's in combat with somebody, he has the ability to learn their moves in the moment during the combat and learn how to reverse their moves. So it's more of like a mental battle as opposed to just a physical battle, because you're kind of fighting yourself when you're fighting Taskmaster. You're learning what he's learning from you and trying to reverse that, and then trying to reverse his reversals that he learned from you and the other moves that he learned from other people. You're trying to learn how to beat those moves as well. So you're trying to outsmart him over and over and over. And the idea of it being like a chess move, it made me really love the idea of going to combat with this character. So when they introduced Taskmaster as being the villain in Black Widow, I was like, dude, this movie's grounded. It's going to be a lot of hand-to-hand combat. A lot of the action is going to be kind of like down the vein of Winter Soldier, probably. So if that's going to be the case, it's going to be interesting to see how Natasha beats the Taskmaster with him overcoming her abilities. Not only that, but also having the abilities of the people she teamed up with on the Avengers, which they did show in the movie with the Shield and the Black Panther claws. But I was excited about the movie just solely off the end fighting scene. That is the only reason why I was excited about that movie. Obviously, they made those weird changes. Besides the whole gender thing, but the whole basically being an android or whatever the case may be, that was just weird to me. So I say all that to say this: when they say that they want a comic or the one that the comic book fans want, it's almost going to be impossible. Because for one, Tony Masters is a one-to-one. There is no duplicates of Tony Masters. So when you have a Taskmaster here already, that already ruins the idea of it being the one that the comic book fans want. So you might as well just continue to go with Olga and then do what you want with her. I would rather them just not even include Tony Masters or anything kind of like him. Just go with Olga, because you're baiting comic book fans to be upset again about something that you know is going to irritate them. Like, that's just my personal opinion. I'm not pissed off about it. I won't get mad about it. I know that they own the IP and they're going to do what they want, but this is just my personal opinion as a Taskmaster fan. But maybe they can explain this. Let's just go into it. I've been talking too much.
So you have probably seen Black Widow by now and know the whole story with Taskmaster and the differences from the comic. Yeah. Obviously, they are pretty big.
Pretty huge.
There's almost nothing that was retained from the comic book version, for better or for worse. Like, I don't mind the MCU version, but I was never really the biggest fan of the comic book version either. Just not a character that really clicked with me. I still think that, like, the best use of the character in recent memory was Marvel's Spider-Man, and not so much the Avengers game, but definitely Marvel's Spider-Man. So I wouldn't be opposed to seeing a more comic book accurate version to see what they could do with him. Now,
okay, so they said a more comic book accurate. So that kind of changes it from the one that the comic book fans want. So those are two different things. So a more comic book accurate is way different. That means they can make something like it, but it's not necessarily going to be Tony Masters.
When it comes to Taskmaster, there's also still the question of, well, what do we do with the MCU version that we already have, considering that the character of Olga is Taskmaster. Reportedly, she will be back, and this was reported on by Screen Geek.
They're gonna kill her off.
On top of this, there's also some other pretty big news that might reveal a interesting spin on this, where maybe Taskmaster isn't just one character, but it could also be like maybe a Black Widow style program where you have more than one Black Widow.
See, that's the thing. When you say that it's someone the comic book fans want, and you say a more comic book accurate, once you create something like a Black Widow program for Taskmaster, that's no longer more of a comic book accurate. Like, but the thing is, like when they say more of a comic book accurate thing, that's very vague. So when they say more of a comic book accurate, that means it could just be a man in a suit. Then that's more comic book accurate. So, it's kind of all over the place. But I mean, he's only reporting it, so he can't have too much details on what's going on.
And from what we're hearing is the possibility of them introducing another Taskmaster, aka a more comic book one, where the guy under the suit is in fact a guy under the suit, and this would be kind of a, big deal. We got two Taskmasters on the team. And realistically, I don't think I would mind this much if they're willing to have the Taskmaster we saw in Black Widow be somebody that was maybe inspired by the real Taskmaster, and they were using it as kind of like a, hey, we're trying to, use this, something that's known, that's feared. That type of deal, that would be honestly kind of cool. And you could still follow the route that the, original Black Widow script followed, where Natasha's best friend, her supplier, was supposed to be Taskmaster. You can maybe follow down that route and still go back to that and kind of reveal a little retcon in there.
If they do it like that and they make like Taskmaster, the original Taskmaster, Tony Masters, and this person that tried to like emulate them because they saw Tony Masters somewhere, was like, I need to create, a fleet of robots that are replicate everything Tony Masters do, then honestly that would be cool. That makes more sense to retcon it and make it more comic book accurate. That works for me, because then the idea that the Taskmaster that was in the Black Widow movie as being the original Taskmaster can be erased and they can start all over. So that actually doesn't sound like a bad idea to me, to be honest.
And then also do the more comic accurate look with the skull and everything, because we know that the whole reason they didn't do it in the MCU the first time around was because of China regulations. Now that Disney said we don't care about putting our films in China since they're just going to ban them anyway, well, now you just do Taskmaster properly. So, yeah, pretty cool. I honestly won't mind if we have both of them. I still want to see the one that we got in Black Widow come back, but doing a more comic book accurate one in terms of backstory, the entire history, and the look, yeah, sign me up.
Here's the thing. So if they're going to go the route that he explained, which I'm sure he came up with the idea, which I think is a great idea, if they're going to retcon it and bring Tony Masters into the MCU, as far as him being the real Taskmaster and Olga being a copy that was created, that was inspired by Tony Masters, and then have a whole fleet of Taskmasters inspired by the original Taskmaster, I'm fine with that. But if you're going to go any other route with it, do not call the guy Tony Masters. Just don't even go that route. You're just going to piss people off, and it's going to be a whole nother issue. And like, it almost to the point, it's like, just don't even do it. But anyways, what do you guys think about the idea of being two Taskmasters in there? I think if they're going to have two Taskmasters, I think they're only going to bring her back to kill her off, in my personal opinion. I think she's going to have a change of heart to some degree. And yeah, I think they're going to kill her off. But thank you guys so much for watching. Salute. Peace. Have a good day.